We are live. We're live. Live on Premiere and live on the live on YouTube. I believe anyway. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's live right now. So we're live. Oh, someone's here. Who's here? Somebody's here. Someone's watching. Well, someone's always watching, but you know what I mean. Somebody is in. It's in here, but I don't know who. Someone's just watching, like a fly on the wall. Now, that's a good analogy. Someone's watching like a fly on the wall. Whoever you are, hope you're having a fantastic day. Oh, watching from Jersey. Oh, Soul Winner from Jesus. Oh, nice. I am. Yes, I certainly am. I'm having a good day, man. I had a bit of a tussle with a Catholic on Twitter earlier today, but what's your name, Soul Winner? That's all. I like that. I like that handle. What's your name, if I may ask? I'm glad you're watching. I'm excited. I got a debate on Thursday. John. You can't go wrong with a name like John. Beloved disciple. Are you a beloved disciple, John? I think. I was just thinking of that Babylon Bee thing about the whole resurrection parody. John. Everyone give it up for John. Beloved disciple. Yeah, John's a good name. Strong name. So, John, what are you up to today besides being on my live stream? What's going on in Jersey? Not much. People are. Oh, the eclipse is over a long time ago here. I mean, relatively speaking, it's been over for. Eclipse has been over for an hour and a half here. So how can for me? Yeah, I can't watch something that's. I think the biggest eclipse was human intelligence and common sense. But that's been eclipsed for a long time, probably, right? Whoop. All right, so bear with me a second. This is some of the material I'm going to be using on. All right, here we go.
So are you the son that?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, so that took a while.
Yeah.
There we go. Amazing.
She's taking so serious on working there, and she does like.
So this is some of my material for my debate on Thursday.
I'm still in.
So I got, as you may know, I have a debate Thursday morning with a Catholic from the Philippines, and so the reason the debate is going to be in the morning is so, well, because he's 12 hours away in terms of, or he's 12 hours ahead of us because he's in the Philippines. So it's 4:52 p.m., 53 p.m. right? So it'd be 4:53 in the morning in the Philippines right now. So that's the reason we're doing that debate in the morning, is to consider the time, the difference of time zone. All right, so I'm gonna stop sharing this. Here. I'm gonna do this. I have a kick and
What's the key here? Yeah. Where's the receipt?
John. What would you see the position that I have on here, John? What would you do in my situation?
Five.
I have a kickboxing. I have a kickboxing class. I have kickboxing. So I have kickboxing, and I have an online Bible study. But I can only do one, not both. What should I do? Bible study. What about? How about MMA?
You don't remember that? I said. Sedano's? Yeah. I said, Daddy's gonna pay that.
Bye.
I love you. Bye. Actually, that she had. This is isn't the first thing. And now he's 40. Right? Like that part of me, like.
What would you say to that, John? But Jesus comes first, but I was going to say I can display Jesus wherever I am, with whoever I'm with. So say that Bible study is more important than other things because Jesus first, I feel, is a bit of a oversimplification of how faith works. Which isn't to say that Jesus isn't in the Bible study or that he's being discussed in the Bible study. Of course, he would be. Because we're going through the Gospel of Mark. So obviously, we're going to be talking about Jesus. But Jesus is more than just the Bible study. Jesus is the person. Again, he can be I display Jesus wherever I am, whoever I'm with whatever I'm doing. So I think it's a bit. I don't know. I mean, I understand it, but you know what I'm saying too. That's all. So I don't know. I'm a bit conflicted. I missed kickboxing this morning because I was busy, so I wanted to take it tonight because I missed this morning. That's what I was thinking, anyways. Can you display Jesus? Yes, I can display Jesus in the way I speak, in the way I treat people, in the way I respect people, in the way I honor people, in the way I think, in the way I move, and the way I listen, in the way so can I display Jesus? Well, I think I've demonstrated in many different ways in how I do. Not only can I, but I do display Jesus in many different ways and in many different contexts. Yeah, so that's my thing. So I'm a bit torn. So I'm torn about what I should do tonight. All right. Well, yeah, I'm a bit torn. Like I just said, like I can display Jesus in a kickboxing class by listening well, by listening to people, by honoring people, by respecting people, by honoring where they are in life, knowing how far I can proceed in a conversation, further in terms of wisdom, and we're displaying wisdom, understanding that everyone's at a different place in terms of where they are ideologically and spiritually and psychologically, and understanding that some people are obviously more open to hearing what Jesus than others, and some people are obviously less inclined to hearing about Jesus, and some people have no interest in hearing about Jesus whatsoever. So it's having, yeah, sure, we can talk about that for a bit. I'm just texting a friend. Oh, sure. Okay, come on. Hey, man. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
That's good. Yeah, so you're John, right?
No.
Oh. Oh, Peter. It's Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I totally didn't see your icon until now.
So what's up?
Great. Oh, I was saying to John before you chimed in the chat that I missed kickboxing class this morning because I was busy doing other stuff, and I wanted to do it tonight, but I have a online Bible study via Zoom, and I'm torn about whether to go to my kickboxing class or to do the online Bible study via Zoom.
Okay. So I'm curious. I saw you
Sure.
post a couple of tweets Although you think you have me blocked, but you don't. So you're gonna
It's okay.
teach
I don't really care anymore.
apologetics?
Pardon?
You're gonna teach apologetics?
Eventually. Right now, I'm just developing a curriculum.
Do you? I don't want to insult you, but do you honestly think
I appreciate it.
that you're capable of teaching apologetics already?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Honestly, I do.
The reason I ask is because 9 out of 10 times you have no clue what fallacies are, what the definitions of certain fallacies are. So I've been talking with Cam because he did a review of our last talk and took notes, and he was the first one to actually criticize me. So I really like it
Who did?
when people do that, because that's how I learn.
Who criticized you?
Cam.
Who's him? Oh, Flynn.
Cam. The
Oh,
guy
Cam,
with
Cam.
the beard.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I misheard you. It's a bit noisy where you.
Conversation you had with him about being perfect. The conversation you had with him about how we measure distances in space.
Right. Okay.
So he explained
I know.
in detail to you how we measure distances in space, and you replied.
Right. I understand. I understood what he was saying.
Do you remember what your reply was?
No, not verbatim. Not even. I don't remember pretty much at all. I don't remember what I said.
You said it was an argument from ignorance fallacy.
Did I explain myself?
No, but that's why I'm really interested in hearing from you what you think an argument from ignorance is. The argument from ignorance fallacy.
It's an argument from ignorance is basically. Let me think about it. Let me think for a minute. It's presenting something as factual when it's not factual, but making it appear as though it is factual.
No, that's not it.
It's not. What ignorance means, you don't have all the facts. That's what ignorance means.
Yeah, but we're talking about the argument from ignorance.
Well, to be a fallacy, you would have to argue about something you don't have all the facts about. That's simply what it have to be. You're presenting a case that you don't have facts for.
It's a fallacy in informal logic.
Yeah, but that's not what the fallacy is. That's what a fallacy is.
Yeah, but what is the argument from ignorance fallacy? Because you still don't know what it is, but you keep using that in several conversations.
But if I said that in response to that, then I was using a fallacy in that particular instance.
Well, but you've been using that for a long time now. The argument from ignorance fallacy. It's one of your go-to things.
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. You wanted to talk about displaying Jesus at a kickboxing class. So
that's
I don't really want to go all over the place with you, Peter.
It's not.
I don't want to go all over the place with you. I really no interest in that. Pardon?
It's no problem, because this is another thing that is one of your signature moves is when you're asked questions and you know you don't have an answer, you want to go to a different topic. Which is why I think you're not. Sorry, which is why I think you're not.
I'm allowed to be disinterested in certain topics at certain times. It's just I don't know. I mean, you want to talk about a specific thing.
You are allowed.
In mind.
You're allowed.
Yeah, I'm just
But
I'm not
if you
interested.
you wanna if you wanna call yourself an apologist, and if you wanna actually teach people how to become an apologist, then that is one of the things you absolutely can never do. You have to have an answer, or if you don't, you have to engage until you come up with an answer.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, the thing is, I don't have to answer when you want me to answer either. I'm not obligated to answer you about anything
no.
at any time. You do.
Oh,
you do
no,
agree
you're
with
not.
that, right?
Yes,
I'm not. Yeah. Okay.
Because
Good. I'm glad.
I'm
glad we agree on that.
but I'll tell you up front, I see that as a failure. So every single time you want to move on to a
Okay.
different
Well,
topic.
if you see that, if you see,
I mean, that's how I see it.
Failure, that. Okay. Well,
I'm not saying
that's
everyone
not
should.
That's not relevant to me. How you see things, Peter.
No, might be relevant to people who want you to teach them.
What may be relevant to some people at some times isn't relevant to me at all times, or most of the time.
I'm just trying to help. I mean,
I think you're trying to help from what you consider to be helpful, but what you consider helpful,
No.
I don't always
Okay.
consider helpful. In fact, most
Okay.
of your engagement with me
Let
on
me ask-
Twitter, I find exceedingly unhelpful.
okay, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
If you and I have a conversation,
Right.
and I say something that you know for a fact sounds stupid,
Right.
would you tell me, and would you try to help me so that I wouldn't look stupid again?
I would. Yes, I would, but I would try to do it as gently and calmly as possible.
Am I not gently and calm?
You are right now. Yes, you're very calm and very gentle. I'll give you that.
Exactly. So the thing with the argument from ignorance fallacy is just one thing where I was trying to help you, because you're using it
Improper.
well, hilariously improperly.
Okay, fair. You can. The adjective is
Basically, what the evidence from the argument from ignorance fallacy is that you make a claim because there is no evidence for the contrary. So if someone provides you with all of the evidence for the contrary, and you call that an argument from ignorance fallacy,
Well,
is
that's probably a little cognitive dissonance on my part.
it's clear that you don't know what the fallacy is.
Or I'm using it improperly. All right. Yeah. Well, so, but there's a difference between not knowing what the fallacy is and using a fallacy improperly because I don't want to engage something that I don't feel comfortable with or knowledgeable about. So it's probably a little. Pardon?
No, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it. I just wanted to help you out because it does make you look kind of silly if you throw something out there and you don't know the exact meaning, and it's clearly.
Well, so if I don't know the exact meaning, it makes me look stupid. Is that what you're saying?
It kind of does.
Okay, so you're a very technical person, right, Peter? Is that fair to say?
No. I've been doing conversations like this for 10 years.
No, it's a very simple question. I asked you if you're a very technical person.
Depends on what we're talking about.
Are you a technical person in terms of rhetoric?
I like to use language the way it should be used. So
It's a yes or no question. Are you a technical person in terms of rhetoric? Yes or no?
I wouldn't say technical.
Then what would you say?
I have no clue what it means to be a technical person in the uses of language.
Let me rephrase the question. Do you consider yourself someone who uses language very specifically when you speak?
Yes, I try to be as precise as possible so people can understand me.
Yes, and when do you think that when people aren't precise, it makes them look stupid with their wording?
No. No, but so if you were if you and I were talking and we were walking outside
Mm-hmm.
and a car would pass and you would say, "That's a nice motorcycle,"
Okay.
I'd find that strange
Why?
because a car is not a motorcycle.
That's a good point. But if I said to you, I think you have more. Do you have motorcycles?
Depending on how you want to use the language.
Do you have something that rides on two wheels that has an engine underneath with it?
Several. 5,
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
And yes, stupid that I forgot. I do have one motorcycle. It's not classified as a motorcycle.
Okay.
It's a little bit illegal, but I have a motorcycle pretending to be a moped.
See, here's
If
my
that makes
thing.
sense.
You just said you were stupid because you forgot something. I think
I
a
forgot
moment-
something.
Yeah, but I think a momentary forgetting of something, it doesn't make you stupid. I think it just means you had to slip your mind. I don't think that means someone is lacking in intelligence.
I'm always tough on myself when I make mistakes.
Do you find you're tougher on yourself than you are on other people, or as tough on yourself as you are on others?
Oh, I'm much tougher on myself than I am on others
Okay, and why is that?
because I'm a perfectionist.
Okay, perfectionist. But a perfectionist can drive themselves and other people's crazy. Would you agree?
Which is why I'm self-employed, because the way I work is so. I think that if you're doing something, then it deserves to be done well.
I
So you
agree.
don't cut corners and you don't cut on time if more time is necessary. And I'm a designer. So the work that I do, the end result is something that evolves over time because I keep changing things to make it look better until I get to what I think is exactly how I pictured it in my mind.
Okay. I can understand. I'm a big. So you would consider yourself a very ambitious person, Peter?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Because look at my channel. I mean, I have less than 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I make content. But I make content for over 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
I see.
That's not on my channel.
I understand. I mean, I know that Aaron's got over 300,000 himself, so
Mm-hmm.
so that's 1/3 right there.
Just about.
Yeah. So, did you want to talk about my internal conflict about whether I should take the Bible study or the kickboxing class?
Well, that's an easy one. If you want to go on and teach apologetics, then definitely the Bible class.
Oh, okay.
Because if you don't know your Bible, you're going to get butchered.
No,
Because
but I do.
most-
Even if I didn't take this,
Most atheists know the Bible a lot better than Christians do. Because
yeah. See, I'm not finding that to be
read
the
it
case. I'm not finding
cover
that
to
to be
cover.
the case.
You know?
I'm finding most atheists don't. I mean, there are exceptions, like you may, Aaron definitely does, Matt, he definitely does, but I find most atheists do not know the Bible nearly as much as most Christians.
If I were to tell you that blowjobs were in the Bible, would you believe me?
Yes, I would. I know they are.
Where?
They're in the Old Testament, and they are in Psalms. They're in Proverbs. They're definitely in Psalms and Song of Songs.
Kudos. One of
Pardon?
the first who actually. I said kudos. One of the first who actually knows.
Okay, Song of Songs is probably the most erotically explicit book of the Bible there is.
Yeah. I earned a block by tweeting some of those verses to a Christian who then said that's not in the Bible. When
That's
I literally,
That's straight from the Bible.
it is.
It's,
But-
I honestly think that Christians need to read their Old Testament more because, like, yeah, the Song of Songs is like most Christians would probably be like, I don't know what to make of this. This is ruining my sense of, I don't know,
Yeah,
ultra conservative. You know what?
a lot of verses about boobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But there's nothing wrong with that. They're natural.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, me neither.
I have four
I
to choose
appreciate
from,
them.
so
I appreciate
Yeah.
them. I mean, obviously, God knew what He was doing when He made them, and He knew that we would appreciate them.
no, I don't think God made them, and the reason we appreciate them also has nothing to do with God. It has to do with
No, I know.
fertility.
It has to do with biology. Most.
Fertility. Yeah.
Yeah, both fertility and biology. Well, fertility is
But-
part of it.
I didn't want to derail you
I
talking
appreciate
about boobs. So
I'm not. I don't feel derailed whatsoever.
let's talk about Jesus instead. So when you say you can display Jesus,
Right.
what do you mean by that?
I mean, I can represent Him in the way I conduct myself.
But is that displaying Jesus?
How do you mean? I don't think we understand
Well,
each other.
keep in mind, I'm Dutch, so English
Yeah,
is actually my third language. So
What's your third language?
English,
Oh, English. Okay. Your first is Dutch. What's your second language?
German,
Oh, okay.
because half of my property is in Germany. So if I go out in my backyard, I'm in Germany.
All
When I
right.
go back into the house, I'm in the Netherlands again. If I
I'm-
want to get to my house, I can get to my house in the Netherlands, but only when walking or riding a bicycle or something like that. If I want to get there by car, I need to go into Germany first and then take a road to my house.
Understood. So
Kind
I've
of
heard
weird.
that the English language is a combination of German and Latin.
German?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Well, I pulled a study and someone I think it was a Google search a long time ago.
Well,
and said that
Latin-
that English, epistemologically speaking, is from German and Latin, like a combination of
Latin-
those two languages.
No. English comes for the most part from Frisian, so the part of the Netherlands where your ancestors came from.
Yeah.
Combined with German. There's a lot of Dutch in there as well. So,
Hey, Flynn.
Hey, Rob.
Lynn,
Hi, Peter.
how are things in your neck of the woods?
Things are good.
Alright.
You didn't get raptured, so you're still here.
I didn't
Hey,
get
I
away
saw
from
it.
that.
I
Hey,
saw
the
it.
night is
running
young.
I swear I saw a teapot on the other side of the moon. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well,
Had you-
Therefore, God exists.
Had you never heard of the celestial teapot? That's what it's referred to as, the celestial teapot.
Yeah,
You
I
never
have-
heard of that
I
before?
have heard of it. I just haven't heard of it in a while.
Okay.
so Flynn, we're talking about displaying Jesus.
Displaying Jesus,
Mhm.
Yes.
as in,
Character in person.
That was the question where we ended, and then you
Oh.
came in. So
oh,
I-
you
I
mean,
said
you mean,
I explained that English isn't my first language.
No.
you mean
so-
like displaying Jesus in one's behavior?
Yes. Yeah. One's
That's-
conduct.
That's a question that I actually like that question more than the what do you believe and why do you believe it question, because I think it leads people to think more about how they actually treat other people
Yeah.
in the world,
Like
which is,
golden
I think, a
rule.
useful thing
Yeah.
worth
Has to do with
thinking
like,
about.
honor, integrity, respect, those kind of things.
Yeah,
Peter
lots of
tuned in
people have
and-
said that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, well, Peter, I thought Peter was someone else because I didn't see his avatar at first. I thought he was. There's a guy here named John who had who's at the bottom now at the chat. I'm gonna pull his thing up here. This is what John said. I'm a libertarian. When I attend a libertarian event, defend my to Constitution. I'm displaying the LP. Same with Jesus. I'm displaying him with my example. Whoa. What is
LP means Lord's Prayer. Lord's Prayer, I think.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I've been. This is something that's become a bit libertarian, defend Constitution, Second Amendment. Same with Jesus. I display him with my example. Interesting.
Yeah, I saw you were engaged with someone there. Came up at least about the Second Amendment. How did that come up?
Oh, we're just like okay, obviously like ideologically we fundamentally disagree between origins and theism and atheism. So I'm like, okay, well at least he's like, well, there's got to be some things we have in common. And I know he's like a huge gun and Second Amendment advocate. So I'm like,
Oh, that was Kim.
That was Kim. Yeah, that was.
Wasn't it?
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
was
was Kim. It was Kim. And so I said, well, I'm totally on board with like the Second Amendment and being, defending your property and your personhood should someone violate your constitutional rights. So we had a whole thing about politics and where I stand on some moral and ethical issues.
Well, it's lots of people have said for a lot of time that if Christians behaved like Jesus behaved in the Bible, Christians would be great. The problem is that a
lot of times us Christians don't act anything like Jesus.
I think that is obviously true. And it's almost an unfair standard, but as long as
because nobody can match the character of Christ on a consistent basis.
Well, it's an ideal. We disagree on whether or not Jesus existed, at least in terms of a God, and I don't think he did. So it'd be like trying to be Superman or trying to be Spider-Man or Batman or something. I mean, you can evince aspects of their character maybe, but to be them would be quite impossible.
Yeah. Well, Gandhi is quoted to be
Gandhi said that.
Gandhi said, "I would be a Christian if it wasn't for the Christians."
I think what he actually said was, I like your Christianity. I do not like your Christians."
I said, I like your Christ, but I have a problem.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He said, your Christians are nothing like your Christ.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he said. You're right. You're right.
Yeah. Because he read the Gospels and then he looked at the Christians. He's like, well, we're going to read the teachings of Jesus, and I observe the conduct of Christians. There's an obvious disconnect.
But
Rob, just a quick thing. You asked if I own a motorcycle. So
yes.
basically that's it.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, I would say that's a motorcycle.
And that's my own design as well.
Oh, that looks really cool.
Peter's a very talented person.
Yeah. So, John said LP means Libertarian
Party. Oh, Libertarian Party. Sorry. Sorry. I
had a feeling it didn't mean religious. Lord's Prayer. Yeah, I had a feeling it did not mean Lord's Prayer, but I didn't know what he was talking about. But now we do.
The reason I thought LP is because he said something like trying to live according to, and since we're talking about displaying Christ-like behavior,
yeah, this is what he said.
Sense.
So I'm displaying
the Libertarian Party. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, this is the one that you were talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I can understand how you thought what you thought.
Yeah.
But so I mean, we're still now we're again derailing from the point. But I agree with Flynn. Not a lot of Christians display behavior that
representative
says Christ-like.
Yeah, that's fair. But I also think that we have to remember that I mean, this is an explanation, not a justification. That Christians are humans and that we have weaknesses too. So, if you're expecting Christians to be perfect, that's kind of unfair. That's all I'm saying.
No one said Christians should be perfect.
Yeah,
but you can do your best. You can do your best and follow the rules.
That's fair.
Okay. Can I make a joke?
Of course.
On it's good. It's kind of naughty towards you. So
go ahead, Peter.
Jesus said, "Turn the other cheek." He didn't say block people on Twitter.
That's true.
Because that's the opposite of what Jesus would do.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
He's not on Twitter. Although he might be on YouTube. I know there's a Jesus Christ on YouTube.
Oh,
I'm sure you do. I'm sure there's
actually
on YouTube who say they are. But what did Jesus say about false Christs, right? In the last days, many false Christs will appear and deceive many. So
that's the problem, though. How are you going to know when the real, if and when the real one arrives? Like, what will be your test, Rob, to know whether this is, this is definitely Christ, this guy? How will you know?
Well, hold on, Flynn. You say a guy. So my favorite is a woman. She's actually the widow of Jesus Christ, who is Jesus Christ. And I only learned that she was the widow of Jesus Christ 2 days ago.
But how can Jesus have a widow when he was never married?
Yeah, but so Jesus came back to Earth.
When?
Then he got married.
When?
Then he divorced his wife, and then he got married again, and then he divorced that particular wife, and then he had a fling with another woman, and then he died. And then the last woman now claims to be Christ.
All right, that's a great story. It's
you can Google her. Her name is Christ Lisbeth. Lisbet. She has her own YouTube channel where she talks to all of the Christians, and it's quite fun.
Well, that's a nice story, but it's definitely not. There's no history.
Well, it's a better story than the Jesus in Russia who got arrested 2 years ago and is still in prison.
I don't even know what that story is about, or who it's about, or what happened.
Oh, this guy was pretty famous. He claimed to be Jesus, and he had a huge following. They even built their own town.
John wants to put up some. This is what he's got to say to you, Peter.
Well, okay, so there is no record of Jesus getting married up until AD 33. But if Jesus came back and got married, that wouldn't be in the Bible, right?
No, it wouldn't.
Because no one's writing anything in the Bible anymore. It kind of stopped about
90 AD.
Well, a little later.
Maybe a little later, but not much.
Yeah. There were a lot of things added to the Bible, even in 300 CE, and some of it might even be added to it later than that. But there are no real stories anymore. So God doesn't seem to interact with the world anymore, or he thinks it's not worth writing down anymore, which is kind of weird if you think of it.
This is John again.
So that's a good one. The Bride of Christ. I had the Bride of Christ on my show.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, you did you? How did you know you had the one when, like, the Bride of Christ says?
Because he said so.
Oh, because he said so. Okay, so if I say the earth is flat, then it's flat?
Well, Jesus said, Jesus didn't say he was God. Ooh, now we've got a problem.
He did actually.
He actually didn't.
Not verbatim.
Nowhere in the Bible does Jesus claim to be God.
He does, just not verbatim.
He never does.
He does. I can prove it.
Let's hear it, Rob.
John
Yeah.
8:58, Mark 14:62,
Hold on.
John 10:30.
I'm quick. I'm not that quick.
I have to. Don't make me go get my Bible.
Well, you can. You got
so-
Google.
I'll go get my Bible.
Oh,
John,
Flynn's got a Bible.
John 8.
58. It's a direct reference to Exodus 3:14.
58.
Yeah, this is the one. This is the one that John is talking about. The I am of John 8:58.
Yeah. Very truly tell you, Jesus answered, before Abraham was born, I am.
Mm-hmm.
But
That I am is a claim to God being God.
No, okay. So does the Bible also say that God knew you long before you were born?
It does.
It does.
Mhm.
So you were long before you were born, correct?
I was known about before I was born.
Which means that you were.
No, it doesn't.
Not in this form, but you were known to be.
Yes,
So-
that's correct. That's
So you were. And so was Christ, which is what he was referring to in that verse.
Christ is God. All right. There's also
Well, the only thing it says in John 8:58 is that he was. There's no mention of him being God.
all right. Well, that is you should look up Exodus 3:14 and cross.
I think that it's the phrase "I am," right? Because
Yes,
Yahweh is "I am that
Yeah.
I am." So when he
Yeah,
says "I am," the idea is that he's saying, "I'm God."
Yeah. I mean, exactly.
Exodus.
3:14. That's a cross reference to John 8:58.
Robbie, you seem surprised that I had a Bible.
I was.
I have 4 Bibles.
Well, I didn't know that.
I have a minor in religious studies.
Okay, this verse that I have up on the screen with us is from Revelation 1:8, and it's Jesus speaking. Oops.
Hold on. Why is this stupid thing going to English?
What stupid thing?
To Dutch, I mean.
I'm the Alpha and Omega, says the Lord God, who is a...
That's Jesus speaking in this verse in Revelation 1:8 too. By the way.
Okay.
How do you
Exodus.
know it's Jesus?
Because
Exodus 8. Hold on.
It
Exodus
says
8. Can you say that again? What was the
Exodus
verse?
3:14.
3:14.
Yeah.
3:14. There we go. God replied to Moses, I am who I am. Then he added, is this what you will tell the Israelites? I am sent me to you. There's no mention of Jesus there.
That is Jesus speaking in sorry, in Exodus
No,
3:14. No, you're right. Sorry, I'm confused myself for a second.
If that were Jesus, then how come the Jews don't believe in Jesus? Because this is part of
That's a very good question.
Yeah, well,
That is a very good question.
they must have missed all of that.
Well,
Or Christians are now trying to shoehorn that into the Old Testament because Jesus is never mentioned in the Old Testament.
not verbatim, not by name. There's no
not
Jesus.
even-
There's no mention of the name Jesus or Christ in the
No,
Old Testament.
the only mention of the Messiah is someone who got a completely different name, Emmanuel.
Yeah, God with us.
Yeah, that guy never surfaced.
Really?
No. Do you know of an Emmanuel in the New Testament?
Yeah.
Someone who's called Emmanuel?
Yeah. Oh, called Emmanuel.
Yes. Whose name is Emmanuel, because it was a name, right? It was
Yes.
specific in he shall be named.
Yeah,
So it's not a title, it's a name.
right.
And this is what Christians like to do, is change that over into a title and then it fits Jesus. But yeah, that's not how things work.
Okay.
You asked me about language. If it says he shall be named, then that will be his name,
There we go.
not his title.
Matthew 1:23. Matthew 1:23.
Matthew 1:23. Look,
Behold, a virgin shall be with child and bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel. Okay. Yeah. So the virgin, I can't recall a virgin giving birth to a guy named Emmanuel. Nowhere in the Bible.
It's hilarious, because if you read on, when Joseph woke from sleep, he did as the angel of the Lord commanded him. He took her as his wife, but he had no marital relations with her until she had borne a son, and he named him Jesus. So it's only 2 verses later that, apparently they disobeyed God.
Mm-hmm.
How?
But they didn't name him Emmanuel.
Well, the name Emmanuel means God with us. The name
Yeah,
Jesus,
the
name Jesus means He who saves, and Christ means anointed ones.
The name Kevin means handsome birth. It doesn't mean that every Kevin who was ever born is handsome.
So yeah, the name Emmanuel means God with us. Jesus means he who saves. And
Gabriel means messenger. Does that mean that everyone named Gabriel is a courier?
No. I don't know anyone else whose name. No, it doesn't mean that.
Anyone want to wonder what the name Peter means?
What does it mean?
It means the rock, actually. But I know what he's going to say.
Yeah. Oh, so you founded the church, didn't you, Peter?
That's right. On this rock,
I am mentioned an awful lot in the Bible.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
Oh,
you are.
I'm not.
No, there's no Rob in the
there
Bible.
There are no Roberts. You're very unbiblical, Rob.
Yeah.
Very good. Very witty, Quinn.
It gets my students through many a dry lecture.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure.
But can we rewind to my question, which I thought was a decent question? How will you know when you've seen the real Jesus, Rob?
Yeah,
that's a good question. So I think, for example, most non-Christians, the thing that most non-Christians has been asking since as long as I can remember, where's the evidence? Where's the signs? Where's the proof? Right? And I think Jesus will display signs, but I think there will be some evidences of what is and isn't the Christ will do, and some that will be like there'll be consistencies with character, right? Like the spirit of Antichrist, according to the New Testament and in Daniel, will be manipulative, will want power and control, will want people, will be enslavement, not choice. So Christ will allow for rejection. Christ will display power, and Christ will point to God the Father. So Christ won't be an egomaniac, in other words, but Christ will display.
Except he'll send you to hell if you don't believe in it.
Well, no.
And worse, he enjoys the smell of people getting burnt in hell, according to the Bible.
Well, it also says that he enjoys the.
Hold on. I watched your face, Robert. Did I just come up with a verse that you're not aware of?
I don't know where exactly it is, but I have heard that before.
But you don't know the verse.
Not off the top of my head. Where is the verse, Peter? What is the verse?
Let me check my notes. I have notes.
That's good.
Lots of notes.
Let's keep in mind, people, though, I'm just going to say this, so the Bible is about a 2,000-page book. Why you guys
Revelation
doing stuff on me?
14:10. Revelation 14:10. Robert.
Okay, but I'm busy right now. I'm in the middle of a live stream with a couple of people from Twitter.
Well, a filthy atheist.
I don't know that. I didn't say that.
Then another angel, a third, followed them, crying with a loud voice, "Those who worship the beast with its image and who receive a mark on their foreheads or on their hands, they will also drink the wine of God's wrath, poured unmixed into the cup of his anger, and they will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, and the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever. There is no rest day or night for those who worship in the beast and its image, and for anyone who receives the mark of its name."
Yeah.
And who's the lamb, Robert?
Jesus.
Exactly. So Jesus is looking onto the people who are tormented by fire and sulfur.
Mm. He is.
So he's that's something he likes watching.
That's pretty graphic imagery, but yeah, I can't deny that. That the text makes it pretty clear that that's something that Christ enjoys.
Yeah. But so I want to help out Flynn and get back to the original question. So we know about Jesus from the Bible and only from the Bible, because there's no mention of Jesus anywhere outside of the Bible. So Jesus making himself known didn't work that well when he was on earth the first time. So what do you think? What makes you think that people will notice him when he comes back for a second time? Because no one noticed him. No one noticed the miracles he performed. There's no mention anywhere of Jesus.
Are you familiar with Josephus?
Yes.
And
He
why
talks
would-
about Christians. I think we all agree that Christians we do have
They
Christians.
come after Christ.
Oh, this
Yes.
is rich. I'll let you guys respond to this one.
Actually, I wasn't. So I'll be very brief. They shouldn't have killed Osama bin Laden. They should have brought him to justice.
What
Alive.
is justice? What would justice look like according to Peter? For Solomon.
Justice. So you know where I live, right?
Uh-huh.
We have a city called
Apparently.
The Hague. You know what's in The Hague?
I know where the Hague is, but I do not know what's in the Hague.
We have an international court.
Okay. Oh
We
yeah,
have
that's right.
the international court.
Yeah.
That's why Putin is kind of angry at us, because we issued an arrest warrant for Putin. So he
Yeah.
can now no longer leave Russia if he gets into a country that has a treaty with the Netherlands.
It's funny
Ah.
because I was just watching a movie within the last couple of weeks that actually mentioned as someone that they wanted to bring in the Hague, but it was completely fictional. But it did mention the Hague.
Yeah.
The movie is Expendables 3.
Well, so we do have an international court there. So no, they shouldn't have killed Osama bin Laden. They should have brought him to justice, i.e., to court in the Netherlands, and he should have he should have been tried, and there should have been a sentence. And also, if that would have happened, we might have gotten some intelligence out of him. So yeah, just killing someone. I'm vehemently against the death penalty. I don't think the death penalty is a good idea, because it's it's not really a penalty, is it? You're dead, so you're no longer going to suffer.
Hmm.
And if you're of the correct persuasion, then you go straight to heaven, like Hitler did.
This is a question to me.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. You might end up in jail.
The Bible study is online, so I can't do kickboxing at the Bible study unless I look like a fool.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I think
Oh,
if you
this
were
is
going
this,
to go to
this is the verse that gets people in trouble.
yeah, that's a stupid verse because it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
If you poke out my eye, what good is it going to do me that if I poke out your eye? Do I get any of my sight back?
No,
No.
it doesn't. It doesn't do. It
Do
doesn't
I
help
get
you at all.
any? Do I get anything? Do I get money to make my life more comfortable now that I only have one eye? No.
You get a
It doesn't
seeing
do
eye dog.
anything. It doesn't do anything.
Hmm. Yeah, but then again, we know that human beings are wildly illogical creatures.
It depends on where you look. I think I mentioned that
That's
to
kind
you.
of
that-
ironic,
that-
given what we're talking about eyes.
well, I mean, if you look at the Netherlands, we have a different justice system than you guys do, and
Yeah, what does the
we
justice system look like in the Netherlands in terms of like?
we try
what
to
else?
rehabilitate. We try to rehabilitate criminals so they won't go back into a life of crime once they have served their time.
Do you
And
have
that
a good,
part-
Do you have a
and
good
that part is-
rehabilitation rate?
Yes,
Okay,
to the
that's-
point where we can no longer fill our prisons. Yes.
That's good.
We have to rent it out to Norway and Belgium.
Mm. Okay. So what do you think about the
Prison-
verse that I got up?
Go ahead, Ryan.
You guys, what do you think about the verse in Revelation 5:8? This is something I wanted to bring because Peter talked about. We're talking about saints, so this is the other set. So going up goals of incense where the prayers of the saints. Oh, I should probably put it 5:6 too. It continues on that. Or sorry, I mean 5:9.
I do have a follow-up question for the guy in the chat. He said Osama killed many innocent lives. He got what was coming to him. So we know already that Trump is responsible for a lot of deaths as well. So should we kill Trump now too? I don't think so. He should go to prison. We shouldn't kill him.
Yeah, sure.
But
He's
so
got ways
we're
to-
still we still don't have an answer. We still don't have an answer, Rob. How
For what
you would
question?
recognize Jesus if he came back?
Well, I said he would display power, but he would display the same characters traits that he displayed when he was here 2,000 years ago. And so you could tell
So,
the difference between the false and the
what kind
true
of
one
powers?
by paying attention. Pardon?
What kind of powers are we talking about?
Well, I mean, I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but I imagine he would probably display the same types of things he did 2,000 years ago.
So the guy in Japan who could levitate and then launched a sarin attack on the Japanese subway because he was Jesus. That wasn't Jesus?
So, no, I don't think he's gonna. Like I said, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it will be.
This guy hovered in the air for over 24 hours
Yeah,
with
I think-
witnesses. So say the witnesses. We don't
So
know
say-
because no one took any video of it, but he apparently could levitate.
Oh, here we go. Someone's a little bit of a. And John's on a bit of a diatribe.
Yeah, that was my fault. But so this guy could apparently do things that human beings couldn't. But that wasn't good enough.
I didn't say it wasn't good enough. Like, okay, but has he done anything to like? Has he healed a person? Has he driven?
He
out
killed a
demons?
few. As I said, he killed a few. He launched a sarin attack in
Okay, well, that's
what was
not
it,
good.
Tokyo?
Okay, well, I don't consider a sarin attack a good thing. I consider it rather evil.
He died as well, so that's also something that Christ wouldn't do if he came back, right? He wouldn't
Yeah,
just die.
exactly. Yeah, I mean,
But his followers still think that he's Jesus, and
Yeah, but
still
then
have
again,
a.
Well, what did I say earlier? Jesus said, "What in the last days will be many false Christs and many false prophets will arise and deceive many." And I think that's what we're seeing: the deception of many.
How about the Australian Jesus who performs miracles?
I'm not familiar with the Australian Jesus.
And this I don't get this. I'm an atheist. I know at least I had Jesus on my show.
I don't.
I
Have
had
time.
Jesus on my show.
I don't have
I
time
talked to
for all
him.
the things that you have time for, Peter. I'm sorry.
No, but so wouldn't you
Or it's
want
not-
to
it's-
know
it's
if there's
also-
someone on the planet saying, "Hey, I'm Jesus, I'm back"? Wouldn't
I
you
would know.
find that
whoever the
interesting?
Australian Jesus isn't the real one. I know that much.
How do you know?
Well, hold on. He's
Well,
it's
that's
not
Matthew-
just him. He
This
brought
verse,
Mary
Matthew 24
Magdalene.
that John's got up.
He brought Mary
How do I know
Magdalene
that the
back with
Australian
him.
Jesus isn't the real one? Because everyone will be able
How
to
do you know?
Look at the verse on the screen. That's how I know.
Yeah, okay, but how do you know that? Because Jesus said he would come back, although
Yeah, with power
that
and great
ship
glory.
has sailed. That ship has sailed because he didn't come back in the time that he said he would be back. But let's say we ignore
What
that.
time did he say he would be back? He just said he's coming back.
He said within the generation of
Yeah,
his
with-
apostles, and
there
some of
we
his
go.
apostles
That misunderstanding.
wouldn't taste death before he got back. That didn't happen. They're all dead pretty much. I don't know of any of Jesus' original apostles, unless you think that I'm Peter, the Peter in the Bible. No, they're all dead. But we're still back to the thing. If Jesus came back on earth, as he apparently has done over a dozen of times already, I mean, there's a Jesus in the Netherlands who wrote an entirely new Bible, by the way.
Okay.
And so far, the only surviving copy of that Bible, I have that one. I still have to post it online because he wasn't good at making a website. So every single link has to be edited, which is a huge task. But I'll get there finally.
Okay. Take your time.
But
you got millions
why
of years
isn't-
on your side.
why isn't the Australian Jesus the real Jesus? Because he's brought Mary Magdalene, and they together are now teaching people
Okay.
according to
Teaching
the
people
Bible.
what? Oh, the Bible.
The Bible.
All right. Good.
Rob would say because he's just another one of the false messiahs, and it doesn't comport with Matthew. What was it, 14?
How can we know
1462.
if that is? I'm asking. How can we know if that's not the real Jesus? Because as long as he doesn't show us any of his special powers, we can't be sure that he has special powers, right? So what if Jesus is back and wants to know who the real Christians are? So he's kind of incognito here. He wants to kind of blend in a little, and just to check who's the real Christian and who will recognize him for who he is. What that would be a good trick for Jesus if he came back. That would a good way of checking who his real followers are, because they would recognize him. Robert's not really interested in Jesus, I think.
Why?
He's more because you're not even listening. If I would ask you what I just said,
There's a couple of people around me that are kind of distracting me.
well, it's kind of rude if people are talking to you and you're not paying attention. That's kind of rude. That's
Well,
very
I'm trying to
unchristlike.
balance it, but it's a little bit difficult.
When I'll give you a tip as someone who has been live streaming for over a decade.
Sure.
If you have a guest on your show, that's the most important part of the live stream. You're
All
not
right.
going
Well,
to
I made them
entertain
know
other
that
people.
I'm doing a live stream. So several times.
Might be helpful.
There's no such thing as sin, soul winner.
How do you know?
I just don't believe that there is.
Well, it
I
doesn't mean
think that,
that doesn't.
I think
but
that they're
your
a bad
disbelief-
act.
Your disbelief of sin doesn't make sin a non-thing.
I can prove that there's no sin.
Okay.
Because
How?
you would say that lying is a sin, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm in the Netherlands. We had a thing called the Second World War,
Mhm.
where Germans would do raids and go looking for Jews. So they would knock on your door and ask, "Do you have any Jews in the house?" So
Was it a sin to lie?
if you had any Jews in the house, would it be okay to say, "Okay, yeah, they're back there"?
Sorry, can you repeat
Or
that?
would you lie to them?
Is it
Can you repeat
Is it wrong if the Nazis if you're harboring Jews in your attic and the Nazis come to your door and ask if you're harboring Jews and you say no, have you sinned?
I would say no, because I think
But it's a lie.
I know, but I think the
Yeah.
saving of life overrides that in that case.
Where in
not what the Bible
that
says.
isn't biblical.
Yeah,
that's
but I
not
mean,
what the Bible says.
there was an example that happened in Judges 2 with Ruth. Ruth hid the spies, and then when she was asked,
I got a better example for you,
no,
Rob.
Peter, let me finish. Peter,
Yeah,
me
let
finish.
him finish, Peter.
Peter, it says in the Judges that Ruth hid the Israelite spies, and when her own people went through the town and searched for them, she was asked, "Have you seen so and so?" Like the people that they were looking for that she was harboring, and she said, "No, I haven't." Something to that effect, and
Right.
the Bible says it was accounted to her as righteousness because she saved the lives of the spies. So that's where I'm going with that.
Which
got a better
proves
example.
Peter's point that it isn't sinful to lie. It is if something can't always, is it wrong to kill, Rob?
Yeah.
What if someone is attempting to kill your wife or your child?
Well, then we're talking
Hold on,
about
didn't
different
we just have a soul winner for Jesus say an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth?
He did say
Yeah.
that.
And didn't he say that it was good that Osama bin Laden was killed because he killed a lot of innocent people?
Yeah, and he said and Soul Winner said he got what he got was coming to him.
So now killing is okay as well.
And this
It's
is also
very hard to live
the
up to
same
this
guy said
standard.
this. Murder is an immoral act. Use your head. It's the
Okay,
same-
so let me bounce something off of you because you wanna go and teach apologetics. What I've been told by what I think are at least decent apologists is that sinning is something that goes against God's nature. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, sinning does go against God's nature.
Okay, so that means that you can just kill innocent people. That's perfectly fine because that's not going to go against God's
Innocent
nature.
according to who and by what standard?
Innocent, according to that they haven't done anything yet. So
But
hard
they're
to
sinful
be.
in their nature, Peter. They're fucked.
So babies are sinful in their nature, and it's okay to kill them.
Well,
The
I would
original
say
sin, baby.
original sin,
Mhm.
yeah. Everyone's
Yeah, that-
conceived in sin, but I wouldn't say babies have sinned, of course. That's ridiculous.
But God didn't have a problem with killing millions of babies, right? He was fine with that.
But unlike us, God has full knowledge what those people would turn out to be if he
Oh my
allowed
God.
them to continue.
Well,
You
if
think
that was
every
the case,
miscarriage ever would have turned out to be Hitler or Stalin?
if
Come
that
on.
was the case, then why did he pick Noah for the ark?
I don't follow your question. I mean, I don't follow why.
A
line of reasoning
drunk
behind
a drunk who showed his genitals to his kids. That was the guy Noah thought would be a good one to start over.
That was the
Earth.
guy Noah thought.
God thought that was a good guy to save to start a new population.
Oh, I mean, I guess you've never been drunk or done something stupid, so you can judge no
He
hour.
would have been on the
No,
sex
I didn't say
offender
I didn't.
registry.
I've been drunk once, and that was by accident. But
I've never been.
let's
So I
get
guess I'm
back
better
to.
than you.
Well, maybe you're better than me. I don't know if you're better than me.
Well,
I'm
you
gonna
have a
said
beer.
you've never been drunk. So.
I don't block people on Twitter. I only block bots.
Okay, well, I block people for my mental health. That's about it.
That's
I
a
just-
good reason.
Then
I don't find your engagement.
I
healthy.
want to make it official that I apologize if I'm threatening your mental health, because that's absolutely not what I
You're
want to
not
do.
threatening to it. You're just not conducive to it, and which is almost the same.
Well, I mean,
But you keep coming
If
back, Rob.
Well, I mean,
If-
Peter just keeps responding. So because like even if I block him, I'm not really blocking him. I don't
no,
know.
you're not blocked. Say something on
right.
Twitter. Say
Oh, yeah, that's
something
right.
on Twitter, and I'll show you
No,
that
you-
I'm not blocked.
No, I think you're
I'll-
muted.
No, I'm blocked.
Okay. All right, I'm saying something on Twitter right now. Peter is
Yeah. Just a public tweet.
Yeah, it's pro. All right, I just sent out a tweet. All right, this is John's
Let
going
me-
a little too far.
Peter is Dutch.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. It's in
So
the
not
address.
So
owning slaves would be a transgression.
Say that again.
Utopia Buster says that a sin is a transgression against God's law. God wearing mixed fabrics is a sin. Not owning slaves is a sin.
Well,
And then look at this
No,
guy,
I
soul
don't-
winner for Jesus. No, put that back up, Rob, please. Look, anyone who trots out gay theists as an insult you should take the high road, Rob, and boot this guy out of the stream. Because
Yeah.
anyone who resorts to something a 12-year-old would say isn't up to having a conversation with. No wonder he doesn't want to show his face. Soul winner, my
I mean,
ass.
that's a sure sign of a loser, and especially when it
Oh,
comes to
there's Kirk
Jesus,
Pilot.
because Jesus was perfectly fine with gay people, to the point where the King of England at some point used Jesus as an excuse for him being gay. And this guy actually brought forth the most popular Bible in the United States, which is the King James Bible, which, by the way, has some verses that King James translated himself to get his gay cause in the Bible, and it worked.
hey, this is actually a good point. This one is actually a good point. Do you guys know what the three are? It's a biblical law. I do.
I don't remember.
Enlighten me.
Of course, there's the
Enlighten me.
Mosaic Law.
Pardon? No, I
Of
mean,
course
there's different categories of law, is what this guy's talking about.
Oh, no, I don't.
There is ceremonial law, there's civil law, and there's moral law.
Okay. Great.
When
So-
Jesus said all the
And
laws,
I say
does
that to
mean all-
Utopia Buster. So what?
Yeah, when Jesus said
That's a
all
fair
the
question.
laws, does that include all these three separate types?
Jesus fulfilled all the law within himself.
That wasn't my question. My
Sorry, can you
question
repeat
said
your
when Jesus said all the laws, does that include all these three separate types of biblical law?
Yes, it would have to.
Great, because I think we all know what all means, right?
Yes, all means all.
Yeah. Yes. So according to Jesus,
According to Jesus,
you
all.
have to follow all the laws, not one of three separate types of laws, all of them.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up. You guys, I'm just pulling up. I am listening, Peter and Flynn. I'm just pulling up some scripture about law.
Can I give you a tip, Rob? When you're
Yeah.
live streaming,
Sure.
you should wear headphones or earbuds,
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
and for two reasons. For two reasons.
So I can
First of
block
all,
them.
No, first of all, you're less distracted.
Yeah.
But what's more important is that StreamYard will mute us the moment there is sound on your end. So you wouldn't have a full two-way conversation if you're not wearing earbuds. Also,
Right. Yeah.
someone's in the back room.
Someone's in the background. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I heard.
Corpse Pilot is here. I've never spoken to Corpse Pilot.
But he said his device isn't connected.
He might want to refresh and make sure that his microphone and you can turn off the camera, but you don't have to have a camera connected. But
Right.
the only thing you need to have is a microphone.
That's right.
Maybe refreshing Corpse Pilot. Maybe that'll help. And because if your devices aren't connected, Rob can't bring you in.
That's right.
Utopia Buster is a mental giant. Shut
Yes.
up, man.
Utopia
What's
Buster.
next? I know you are, but what am I?
I am the stupid Dutch guy going by the name of Peter.
All of a sudden, atheist becomes biblical scholars. It's correct.
I'm the guy who doxed himself on Rob's show.
I actually have a
Which
minor in religious
kind of
studies.
blew away
Utopia
Ken.
Buster. What have you got?
This is pretty amazing.
Oh, Utopia Buster must not be a Christian because they can curse.
He's swearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, I got to pull something up because this is actually, I mean, I have to work on this myself, but, oh, here it is. I had to think for a second. I'll let you guys, but I wanted to pull that text from Matthew 5:17-20, because Jesus talks about fulfillment of the law.
Oh. Matthew 5.
What do you guys think about the text? These texts I got up here.
I can't read them.
Yeah, it's really
Too
small.
small for me.
Okay, well I'll read
Hold
them.
on,
Oh,
let
this
me-
is, yeah,
let me-
I have not. I tell you, for truly I tell you, until heaven and earth pass away, not one letter, not one stroke of the letter will pass from the law until all is accomplished.
Yes.
Um,
Heaven and Earth are still here. Both of them.
Yeah.
I just looked.
Yeah, no, but it means that there's things that haven't happened yet. That's it. It means that,
Again?
that means that there is some prophecy that has not yet been fulfilled. That's what I'm saying.
but he is the fulfillment. You said so yourself.
Yeah.
It's a
Now you-
paradox.
Now you
It's a
now you
paradox.
contradict.
It's a
paradox.
Contradict.
It's a paradox.
It's a contradiction.
No, paradox is a seeming contradiction. It's not
No.
one and the same.
No, paradox is not a seeming contradiction. A paradox is an unsolvable contradiction.
You're thinking of an oxymoron, I think, Rob.
No, the paradox is not an oxymoron.
An oxymoron is something that seems on its face to be contradictory, but isn't.
That's the one you've got pulled up now, Rob. That's a great one.
The thing
Who can decide who is and isn't a Christian?
that should
Because-
be well,
Rob.
It's not in your pay grade.
it's not
hey,
me.
Utopia. Hey, Utopia Buster. It's
Hold on.
not in your pay
Hold on.
grade to decide who can and cannot decide who can and cannot be a Christian.
Yeah.
What do you think you're
Rob,
doing?
You have told me about several people and you don't consider them to be Christians, so you can make that decision, right?
Who? Me?
You did. Yes. Do you think Catholics are Christians?
I think some of them are.
No. Do you think Catholics are Christians? Is the Pope a Christian?
Oh no.
Oh, there you go.
What? Rob, I was raised
What?
Catholic. I assure you, I was a Christian.
It's I'm just baffled. So you still use the word AD, the annotation AD when it comes to years, right?
Me?
Why do you use yes when it's so we're in 2024 AD according to you?
I
Whereas
I hardly ever use AD as an affix to the.
do you think the counting of the years has anything to do with Christ?
Well, I mean, in terms of history, sure, but that's about it.
Oh, you didn't know that who invented this kind of calendar?
Who invented
The most used calendar on the planet today?
Do I know who invented that calendar? No, I don't know.
Yeah. It was Pope
Hint, it was a
Gregory. Yeah. So the one who changed how we measure time isn't Jesus. That was a pope. And he wasn't even Christian, according to you.
Well,
Kind of weird, right?
I'm not the gatekeeper. Jesus is.
Well,
Hey,
you are the
Utopia
gatekeeper
Master,
because you just said that the Pope isn't a Christian, so you are a gatekeeper.
Well, no, I'm judging the act by the fact that he's not born again. I'm not gatekeeping that.
So
but
the
it's
fact
obvious he's
that
not born again.
the fact that every Catholic on the planet thinks that they're born again, but they think that they also need to do good works in order to get to heaven, which would line up, I think, a lot better with Jesus than the Protestant version where you don't have to do good. All you need to do is accept Jesus and then you're done.
That's
I.e. the
that's a
OSAS.
misunderstanding and oversimplification and what do you call it? Category error.
You don't believe in once saved, always saved?
I do, but I think that doesn't mean I can do whatever the hell I want either.
So
then what does always mean?
then it's yeah, what does always mean?
Well, it means I'm always saved, but it also means that salvation produces good works in me.
No, that means that you can just go around and kill whoever you want. You can rape. You can dismember children because once saved. Hold on, I'm just saying. Once saved, always saved. Right? There's nothing you can do to lose your salvation.
Yeah.
Because that's what always means.
You said you wanted me to correct you if you said or did something stupid. Remember, right, Peter?
Yeah, well, you don't want to answer this question, right?
No, it's right here. It's right here. It's right here. I'm answering it right now.
I can hardly read that. I'm old, so.
Okay, well, I will read it for you. This is Paul speaking in Romans 6:1-4.
So Paul, not Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, Paul, not Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, what shall we say then? Shall we go on sinning that grace may increase? By no means. We are those who have died to sin. How can we live in it any longer? Or don't you know that all of us were baptized into Christ Jesus, were baptized into his death? We were therefore buried with him through baptism into death, in order that just as Christ was raised from the dead through the glory of the Father, we too may live a new life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just sad that Jesus didn't say that, right? It was Paul.
Okay.
Because Paul started Christianity, not Jesus. Oh, now we got a problem.
Oh, we lost Rob.
It's just us.
McDonald's turned off their Wi-Fi.
I've been in a situation like this, and when this happens, I always think that we need to be respectful and not do things that Rob wouldn't want to have on his channel. Last time, the Christian that I was on his channel, because I said that and because I acted upon that, I got blocked. Not kidding.
Can I point out to Utopia Buster that he doesn't know the difference between ascribe and subscribe? And it's anyone who subscribes to the fundamental principles, not ascribe. Ascribe is something that you do to, if you're the subject of a sentence, you ascribe something to the object of the sentence.
Mhm.
Subscribe is something that a subject of a sentence does.
Or
And he called
what you
us
need to
preschool atheists a minute ago.
and,
Dude doesn't even speak proper English.
and I want to say, when it comes to subscribe, you need to subscribe to my channel. The most atheist channel on the planet.
Very smooth, Peter. Very smooth.
Well, Flynn and I had a great conversation with a Christian lately.
We did. You should listen to it,
and
Rob.
he's coming. Yeah, and he's going to come back for several more shows. So, and I actually talked to him yesterday. He was in the chat on Orange channel. Yeah, he's not me.
Peter. No, I know it's not you. It's a different Peter. Peter Square.
See, what my problem is I don't lie. So if I make a sock account, and I've got several, so you might run into me on YouTube under the name of Jesus Christ, because that's
Jesus. Sorry.
But I will always tell you the truth. If people ask who that is, I will tell them the truth, because I don't like to lie.
Yeah.
There's one exception. There's one exception, two exceptions.
Which are?
Thank you for
One,
proving my
when
point.
it's-
Utopia Buster.
Yeah, one is when it's beneficial to someone's health, which I've done, and one is a white lie. Say that I want to surprise someone. Yeah, that I will lie my ass off to make that surprise perfect.
Yeah, if I'd have
The other
done
one is more important. I spent an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and a half on the German Autobahn with a guy who didn't have a face anymore because we drug him out of a burning car.
Wow.
And he was worried. His daughter was into horseback riding, and he was worried that he couldn't go watch her 5 days later, because that was important to his daughter. And I lied to him and said, you're going to be fine. You're going to be there, knowing full well that he wasn't going to be out of the hospital for the better part of a year, because he literally didn't have a face anymore. Everything was gone.
Oh, this is funny.
So
Someone thinks that
that's
Paul
why.
is more Dutch than Peter. That's on Twitter. So this is Jesus speaking, by the way, guys. This verse, and this is John 13:35. It says, "By this everyone will know that you are my disciples if you love one another." That's the words of Jesus in John 13:35. And then we've got Utopia.
Okay, call me a stickler. Call me a stickler. How do you know that those are the words of Jesus?
Eyewitness testimony.
Notoriously unreliable.
Eyewitness testimony.
Can
Okay.
be, not always. And
No.
my
I'm
response.
talking about this specific verse that you're now pulling up.
Okay.
It was John. It was in John. You said.
Yeah, John 13, verse 35.
Okay, great.
35 is
So how do you know that those are the words of Christ? Because who wrote John?
John? No, sorry, no, it wasn't John. It was
No,
Peter.
no.
Peter wrote John. Peter, mostly
No,
Peter.
no,
Sorry,
no,
Peter
no,
transcribed.
no. So I'll help you out.
All right.
Except for Paul's letters,
Mhm.
we don't have
We don't
any autographs for anything in the New Testament. All of that was written by anonymous scribes. We have no clue. And what's making this worse is that they were penning down stories that people heard. So there's no eyewitness account in the Bible. There is an account of someone who was told about an eyewitness account and was written down by someone who didn't want to put their name with it.
Utopia
That is what
Buster
we
needs
have
to
in-
calm down. Sorry.
Say again?
said Utopia Buster needs to calm down.
You need to concentrate because I doubt you heard a single word of what I just said.
I heard a couple words, but I was distracted.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
Go
explained to you. So leave the chat alone. Click the chat away. Listen to what people are. We're talking to you, right?
Right.
So I think if you're anywhere near Christ-like, you should pay some attention at least.
All right. So I blew up. I have the screen. I have it on full screen now, so I cannot see the chat right now.
Okay. So the entire New Testament, with the exception of Paul's letters, are written down by anonymous scribes who were writing down accounts of people who heard stories.
Yeah. Okay.
So in light of us already knowing this, how do we know if Jesus ever said that?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, on the face of it, you can't. I would say you couldn't, based on what you're saying. If what you're saying is true, then you can't know for certain that Jesus said that.
Exactly. That's the problem. Wouldn't you say?
Sorry. I just want to quickly point out to Utopia Buster that the reason that there is 2,000 years of biblical exegesis is that for 2,000 years, people haven't been able to agree on what the Bible actually means. That's a problem for you, not for me.
If only God wasn't the author of confusion. Oh, wait. Sorry.
I thought that was Satan.
No. If you read the Bible, you will figure out that Satan is actually the one guy in the Bible who doesn't lie.
Satan's the good guy.
Yeah.
Satan's the good guy. Satan doesn't lie?
No, he doesn't.
Really?
There's nowhere in the Bible where you can prove that he lied. Nothing. There's nothing in the entire Bible. People keep accusing him of being a liar all the time.
Yeah, Jesus.
There's not a
Jesus
single
liar.
There's not a single proven lie in the entire Bible.
Oh yes, wait, he did lie. He lied in Genesis.
Jesus lied.
No. I'm saying
Yes.
I can prove in Genesis that Satan lied.
Where?
Pull it up. Give me a second.
Don't pull up the part with the serpent because the serpent wasn't Satan.
No, the Satan was using the serpent to speak through him.
No.
Oh,
Serpents can't talk.
So now I can't use that because it doesn't count as what Peter qualifies as Satan lying. I see.
No. So, no, you haven't been to European churches. You haven't been to European churches ever, right?
No, I've never been to Europe, so no.
Okay, so you wouldn't know that the idea of the serpent being either Satan or a tool of Satan is something that only came up hundreds of years later, because initially it was thought that the serpent was Lilith, which is why the serpent in the oldest churches is depicted as a naga, and the naga is a creature with the upper half of a woman's body, and then the lower half is a snake.
Oh, interesting.
And that's how she's depicted. The serpent is depicted in the older European churches, because people thought that would be Lilith, who was mad at Adam because she had to flee. She knew God's name, which enabled her to fly. So she got out of Eden, and then God had to create Eve to give Adam a new wife.
Mm-hmm.
But none of that made it into the Bible.
Guys, I gotta go.
No problem, Flynn. Good seeing you.
Good to see you. Take care, Rob. Take care, Peter.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So anyways, I'm going to say it anyways. It's in Genesis. I don't have it in front of me because I was listening. But
No problem.
No, Peter,
Can you
Peter, just listen. I'm just trying to get through this. You got to listen, man.
What I'm okay
gotta
now.
listen.
Okay, I'm not
Peter-
going to be rude, but you weren't listening to me for most of this show. You were interacting with people around you. You were interacting with chat. Don't get mad when what I actually said is paraphrase it. I wanted to help you. You don't need to pull it up. You can say it in your own words. Don't get mad at people for doing what you do, Rob.
Okay.
Not Christ-like.
Okay, Peter. But Christ didn't exist, so that's neither here nor there, right? So
I don't think he did, but that's
Okay,
just
well,
me.
it's irrelevant. This is a moot point for this conversation. So the paraphrase is Satan said to Eve in response to Eve said, God told us we shall not eat of the tree, not even to look at it, lest we die. And Satan said to Eve, did God say, if you eat
But
of
that
this
was not
tree?
Satan.
Okay, Peter, please just listen.
Listening.
Okay,
But-
without interruption, please. That'd be
Go
appreciated.
ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Satan said to Eve, did God really say, if you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall surely die? You shall not, if you eat of this tree, you shall not die. You will be like God, knowing good and evil.
Yeah, that was not Eve saying. That was the serpent saying. And the serpent.
I didn't say it was Eve
Scholars, biblical scholars, both Christian and secular, agree on this, that the serpent isn't Satan, couldn't have been Satan, because explain to me what happened to the serpent when God found out that Adam and Eve had eaten from the fruit.
He kicked him out of the garden.
Something more happened to the serpent, right?
He was cursed, and he was cursed. Yeah.
To crawl on his belly for the rest of time, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. And then later in the Bible, God walks with Satan.
Okay.
And Satan walks with God.
Right.
So the curse got lifted?
Satan walks with God. Where?
Yes. Job.
Okay. Well, Satan had a conversation with God. I don't think it's a bit of a stretch to say he's walking with God.
It specifically says walked in the Bible. Literally in every translation you can find. And in the original Hebrew as well.
Okay. Well, God gave Satan an audience. Yeah, for sure.
This is why scholars conclude that the serpent and Satan couldn't have been the same person or the same entity.
I don't follow.
Because otherwise there would be a massive contradiction, because then Satan's curse would have been lifted, which according to God never happened. Because until the rest of your days means literally until the rest of your days. So the serpent, if the serpent still exists today, it would still crawl on its belly.
This is a verse that Utopia Buster he shared with me. Then I just looked it up.
We're not talking to a Utopia Buster. Please,
right.
please. If you want to be a
I am paying
decent
attention,
apologist,
Peter. I am paying attention to you. I'm paying attention to you. I am
Okay.
listening.
So this is the problem with online Christians, that they disagree with their own scholars, with Christian scholars who spent their life doing research on the Bible and have come to conclusions, and they will just brush it off and say, nuh-uh, and that's all the defense they have.
Yeah, but do you think you're using confirmation bias to some degree, or to yourself?
How would I use confirmation bias when I'm trying to make your point?
No, because I'm trying to say, like you're saying that, like obviously not all Bible scholars disagree on many different things, and there's Bible
But there's
scholars.
consensus.
Yeah, right. But there's Bible scholars agree on a lot of things, but there's also obviously Bible scholars who disagree on many things.
Yes, but there's a main consensus, right? So if you have a fringe Bible scholar who thinks that the serpent is Satan, that's a fringe Bible scholar. The consensus, which means that most
I know what
of
consensus
the Bible,
means, Peter.
yeah. So would you believe this one fringe guy, or would you believe the people who have been in this job for a long time and have done the research, proper research?
I think the question presents a false duality. I think because there are a lot of scholars, I believe, that do believe that the serpent was Satan, or at least a tool of Satan.
Not a lot.
Well,
As I said, that's a fringe part of scholars, and most renowned scholars agree on this. But I mean, if you can't trust Christian Bible scholars, then who can you trust on what the Bible actually says and what it means?
well,
Can you only trust yourself?
Human beings are fickle. We are capable of massive amount of self-deception and being deceived by those around us.
I agree. But do you think, I'll ask you this.
Mhm.
Let's say there was a course in apologetics, and
Okay.
someone was teaching people how to do apologetics. Would you
Okay.
trust that person?
It would depend on a few things.
Which things?
If they're learned, if they're knowledgeable, if they know their stuff, if I can see that they can demonstrate knowledge of the material that they say they're not knowing of, then I would trust them.
And how would you verify if that's the case?
I would have to pretty much like the scientific method. I would have to observe them, test them, and then see if there's like consistency.
Let's say these people earned several PhDs in theology
Sure.
from several Christian universities. Would that help?
Yes, it would.
Exactly. So you just made my point that humans are fallible, but those who invest a lot of their time, and some have invested their entire life into trying to figure out what the Bible is, what it says, and what it means, and what you should take away from it. I would trust those people more than some guy in a chat on YouTube telling me what I need to think.
Oh yeah, I totally agree. From my point,
So you
Peter,
agree with me when I say that if both Christian and secular Bible scholars are in consensus that the serpent was not Satan, then we can pretty much take that as a good reason to believe that the serpent wasn't Satan, right?
Well, I'm going to answer this with something else. I want to respond to that point by saying that even trained Bible scholars with degrees in a reputable, accredited Bible institution, whether that's a university, seminary, or both, are still capable of making mistakes concerning
And you
theology.
think all of them make the same mistake?
Oh, for sure not. That would be ridiculous.
Then there couldn't be consensus, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying even with the training and the knowledge, we're still fallible, and we can still capable of making errors.
I know. I get that. And I take that into consideration. But
Okay.
do you think that just when it comes to the Bible, that these people who have earned PhDs and have spent their entire life working on this are more believable than a few fringe people who have turned out to be people who don't have the same credentials when it comes to the Bible that disagree with him?
Yeah, that
Because
sounds
you're showing
That would sound silly.
showing.
That would sound silly to me.
Yeah, but you agree with those people. And to me, that sounds a little bit like confirmation bias. These people say something that I feel more comfortable with, so I'm going with them instead of doing the research.
I'm not doing it because I feel more comfortable with it, but when I read the text in Genesis and I corroborate it with other things that I see with Satan being like, we see Satan in Genesis, we see Satan in Job, we see Satan in Gospels, and then you see Satan kind of strangely displayed in Revelation. That it kind of is to me when I look at Satan's being described in both Satan speaking and Satan being spoken of, and I read all of those references, and I look at the serpent in the garden in Genesis. It strikes me as representative of the character of Satan as a whole throughout the corpus of the text of the Bible. It's consistent.
But it's not consistent because, as I told you, Satan is described as someone who can walk. Satan is described as someone who still walks the earth in order to lead us astray.
No, that's what I mean. That's why I think that the serpent
he
was
doesn't.
a tool. I would think it was a tool, a mouthpiece for Satan.
That is not biblical because nowhere in the Bible says that Satan used the serpent as a tool.
Well, I mean, I don't know how else to make sense of the text because the serpent, the way the serpent spoke to Eve is consistent with how Satan is described and how he represents himself in other areas of Scripture.
Okay, so two different entities couldn't come up with similar sentences?
Well,
I don't think that's very strong evidence.
Okay, well then who do you think was speaking to Eve in the garden, if not some mouthpiece for Satan?
I'll be honest, I think it never happened, but when I have to make an educated guess,
let's just say for sake of
I
argument.
don't believe it was Lilith either.
Okay.
I think because we still have snakes and all snakes. Well, we still have snakes, and all snakes still crawl on their belly. So if the story was real, then the serpent in the garden would have been the common ancestor of all the snakes that we see on Earth today. So it would mean that it was just an animal. It was just an animal in the garden.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question, Peter. If, just hypothetically speaking, you believe Genesis to be historical narrative, who would you think the snake is, if not a tool for Satan?
I just said so. I just told you, an animal.
Just an animal?
Yeah.
But he spoke to the snake spoke, which doesn't happen anymore.
So did the donkey to Balaam.
That's true, but I think the donkey is clearly a little different in terms of it's the whatever spoke through the donkey and Balaam was significantly different in character than the snake in the garden.
I'm not saying that those were the same character. I'm just saying that animals can speak in the Bible. So what's the problem?
Well, I'm not saying that that's not a problem with animals speaking. I'm just saying, okay, maybe let me try to steel man this. And according to my estimation, I believe that the serpent was a mouthpiece for Satan, and I find it to be consistent with Satan's character as revealed in other passages of Scripture, whether he's being described or whether it's himself speaking and acting. And I wonder, if not that, what would your alternative be if you were to accept on the face of it, hypothetically speaking, that story in Genesis was actually historical narrative?
So if that is what you think, then you're contradicting yourself. and
No,
I'll explain
but I'm
why.
asking you.
Hold
I'm
on, hold
asking
on.
you to answer the hypothetical.
Yes, and I was about to.
Okay, go ahead.
Because, and I'm trying to steel man your position.
Okay.
You think God is just, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if the serpent was the mouthpiece of Satan,
Hmm.
then how come only the serpent was punished, but not Satan himself? Why is there no mention of Satan getting any punishment for this, even though he used the serpent as his mouthpiece? Then a just God, I think you would agree with me on this, would have punished the person behind the mouthpiece at least as well. I mean, I'm not saying that the serpent would have had no punishment, but the biggest punishment would have gone to the one pulling the strings, right? That's what a just God would have done.
Mm.
By any standard, even by his own standard.
Yeah.
So if we take that into consideration, and if we then read the Bible and we see that Satan wasn't punished for causing original sin, then it's clear that the serpent cannot be Satan.
I see what you're saying. Or that God isn't just.
I don't want to go there. I just think that that's a very good argument against the serpent being Satan.
Or no,
Whether or not God is just is a completely
But I-
different topic and gets us
But
to
I wasn't. But
a rabbit hole.
But Peter, I wasn't saying that the serpent is Satan, but that was a mouthpiece.
No, he was using him.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
But if Satan was using the serpent, wouldn't he deserve a punishment?
I would say so. Yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't he take the grunt of the punishment?
That would
The
be
bigger part of the punishment?
That would be very sensible to me. Yes.
Yes. And that didn't happen, did it?
Not that we know of.
No. And this is pretty important because this is about original sin. So I think that if I have a clear picture of the God that you believe in, this God would make sure that if that was something that had happened, that would be in the Bible, that people would know. Because this would be a very strong argument against Satan.
Mm-hmm.
And God would tell people about this, as he has done multiple times throughout the Bible.
Mm.
So the fact that God didn't attribute this to Satan, to me, is a clear sign, not just to me, also to biblical scholars, but to me at least, is a clear sign that the serpent couldn't have been Satan.
Mm.
Because we would know.
Mm-hmm. Now, God and Satan have an interesting relationship, and I don't think the problem with Genesis in the regards to what you're saying is that there's just a whole lot of things that just are not explained or said.
Yeah. The Bible isn't very clear on a lot of things.
No,
and
but
it's
I mean,
extremely unclear
yeah.
and divisive on other things.
Or just completely ambiguous and just so unclear. Like that whole thing about what you're saying is like there's no real answer to that other than that I just don't know.
Yeah. And you come to a different conclusion than I do. Because I come to a conclusion that if there's an all-powerful, omniscient, all-knowing God, then he would have foreseen 2024, in which guys like Peter de Tucker from the Netherlands are doubting his word, and he would have made sure that we had a book that was much more clear than the book that we have right now. And this
Peter,
is why I don't believe.
I got an hour and a half before I only have 2 hours of streaming time for things, but this is actually a good point from Utopia Buster 2017. I'll let you respond to this, Peter, and then we got to close it up.
I have no clue what this has to do with anything that we've been talking about.
Oh, he's trying to tell you that the Satan that the snake was and in fact Satan.
Well, this is the problem with people trying to Google the Hebrew and then finding other things, because words can have different meanings. I mean, if I said I had a gay old time yesterday, it could mean that I was just happy, or I was involved in homosexual acts. So the reason we know what we're meaning when we're using a certain word is because of the time we live in and the usage of the word. People always think that words have a
Peter, I hate
meaning.
to cut you off,
Words,
but I gotta end the stream, otherwise it's not gonna end.
yeah, no problem. Let me get this sentence out and then I'm done.
Sure.
So words do not have meanings. Words have usages, and the usages of a word change over time. This is something you need to keep in consideration when you translate things, when you have to
I
translate
fundamentally
things
disagree
in the
with
time.
you. I believe that words have meanings in their original context, and that those meanings change over time as language evolves.
Okay, I'll give you an example. A
Do you agree with
girl.
what I just said?
Yes, a girl. Is that referring to a young male child?
No.
So the word girl didn't have a meaning when it was first invented. It had a usage back then that the word girl meant a young male child, and then somewhere around the 1900s that changed, and now the word girl means a young female child. So
As far as I know,
it
it's
doesn't
always-
have a no.
No?
No. So that is a clear way of demonstrating that a word doesn't have a meaning, it has a usage. Same thing with gay. Gay always
gay
used to mean
happy.
yes, and it no longer does. And the word
Now it means
gay
homosexual.
as the word gay for happy isn't being used anymore.
No, it's not.
Do you hear the word used as in usage? The usage changed from being happy to being homosexual. And that's how we use it today.
Yeah. I understand. what you're saying.
And a dictionary,
Mhm.
when you look up things in a dictionary is always behind the usage of words, because
Yeah,
new
for sure.
words get added to a dictionary because the usage changes.
I see what you're saying.
That's what you
I think it's both and. I think words have meanings and usage at the same time.
it depends on how you interpret meaning.
Yeah, I agree.
The word usage does a